Howdy, howdy, and welcome to another wonderful trash take. Today, we're talking about CNN yet again and their terrible decisions to have people on air that are genuinely retarded. We have another certified retard. Last one, we had a lady that was purposely being disingenuous and intentionally misunderstanding someone to, I guess, convince retards that actually watch CNN that bad things were happening at the Trump government. If you didn't see, Trump deported a bunch of Trinidad and Aragua gang members using the Alien Act of 1798. And it gives full presidential authority from Congress. If Congress gives the president power to do something, the executive branch or the judicial branch cannot overrule it. A judge decided that they have the power to overrule both Congress and the president, which is not allowed in any way, shape, or form because they don't understand they don't actually understand how American government works. They're a bunch of political activists that have been appointed basically under the Obama administration is what it looks like. That's what I keep seeing is they keep finding these political activist judges that are throwing up these red flags and trying to stop people from getting fired. Oh, it turns out they have a daughter that works at USA. Yeah, you have a bunch of retarded judges and have been absolutely overstepping their power, and it's been pretty great in America because basically they're trying to do everything they can to disarm Trump with his presidential powers by forcing him to wait for the Supreme Court to make rulings, and that can be years down the line, and that's their intention, to try to wait Trump out his second term to make sure that he has no real authority and can't do what he wants. Look at what's happening with Doge Department. They're doing massive cuts. Now you have judges saying, well, actually, even though that these are employees under the executive branch, you can't fire them. We decided you can't fire them now all of a sudden, and there's no real authority to do that. They're just saying that, and CNN and all these other retards on the news are eating it up like, yeah, the judges stop people from doing things that are illegal. But the issue is this isn't illegal. It's under the presidential powers. But you can't explain that to them. They purposely are misinterpreting that to convince other people that this is what they're doing is entirely right when it isn't. It's intentional. It's very intentional. This isn't accidental. It's intentional. And now, someone on CNN last night decided to call Elon Musk a Nazi. And they're going to get sued. Yeah. So, if you haven't been paying attention, Elon Musk has been a target of a lot of politically motivated violence recently. And I call it politically motivated violence because they've been drawing swastikas on Teslas and basically making death threats against him and Doge. And they kind of made the connection that the only reason Trump won is because of Elon. So, I mean, it seems pretty clear here that they've turned Elon, or they're trying to get Elon killed, is what I look at this as. Elon Musk, ever since the inauguration, he made an awkward hand gesture where he said, I'm throwing my heart out to the crowd, reached out, it's like he's grabbing his heart and threw it out. And a lot of people that have an IQ less than 40 immediately screamed he's a Nazi. A bunch of news anchors like, that's an awkward hand gesture. That's kind of crazy, guys. It's something like the H guy would do in World War II. Like, they have to heavily imply it. They couldn't just straight up call him a Nazi because there are certain things you can say and cannot say on the air or you'll be sued. Calling someone a fucking Nazi is, I assume, one of them, and it hasn't really been done now no one's really been sued for it until fucking now. Mainstream news has recently begun their shit kicked in too because the ABC had some news anchor lose a $15 million lawsuit because they called Trump a rapist, because he isn't a rapist, because he had a lawsuit against that one retard who they found him not guilty of rape. They found him guilty of some other shit, but it wasn't rape. So a news anchor then immediately saying, oh, well, he's a rapist. That's a complete lie. He's been found innocent of that, and it is now defamation. So they purposely are doing it to try to hurt the character of these individuals, and it's been pretty obvious for anyone that isn't brain dead. So let's watch this guy get CNN a $15 million lawsuit. Oh, by the way, here's the Elon tweet. I've had enough lawsuiting about this. Is the real Elon Musk account. Trust me, bro. I'm an engineer.
And this shows, again, the American people do not trust Elon Musk, and Elon Musk is incompetent in his position. And how do we know? Because they fired tens of thousands of people, it was challenged in court. The court said the people have to go back, and now the people are coming back. He's incompetent, he's a thief, he's a Nazi, and people don't trust him.
That's the end of the clip. Incompetence is when you're able to catch rockets and save astronauts stranded in space. Being a Nazi is when you're actually pro-free speech and have the most open speech platform in the world. Yeah. Firing 10,000 people, I think that was honestly needed. The government in America has been extremely bloated. It's a bureaucracy where they hire thousands of people to do the job that maybe one person could probably do because of how asinine it is. This is anecdotal evidence from people I know that work in the government and people I've heard talk about the government job where they have basic metrics they have to meet in a week, and you could probably do them within 2 hours of actually working. So basically the rest of the day, you just sit on your ass, you show up to work, you won't be fired. So that's what's been happening in the United States government is we've had literal lobotomites that have had jobs that have never had to fight for a position or had to worry about being fired that are now on the chopping block because they have to tell Elon what are the 5 things they did today. And they're having mental breakdowns because they're retarded snowflakes about it. Working for a real company in America, normally every 4 to 5 years, depending on how often the cycle is, you have to worry about layoffs, massive layoffs, because overhead costs start getting a little too much for a company, and a company's number one profit, or a company number one drive is a profit margin. If that profit margin's at risk, they'll start laying people off. It's the easiest thing to do. Especially if they're able to prove that a worker isn't valuable, which is what Elon did. He gave these people interviews to ask them questions to see how valuable they were, opposed to actually just suggesting blanket firings. Because also Elon doesn't fire them. I know it's a lot of people that are also purposely getting that misconstrued to try to ramp up more hate toward Elon. Elon has no authority to fire. He makes the suggestion, but he's not the one saying they are getting fired. It's ultimately up into other people's hands. And Trump's been very specific about this, and Elon's been very specific about this. And yes, they've used basically words of like, oh yeah, I'm the one that's helping them get fired, but they are not the one making the final decision. Elon Musk has no authority to fire people. It's either going to Trump or the person in charge of the department they're looking at. So the news has been doing everything they can to discredit Elon Musk and drag his name in the dirt, which is kind of wild. This dude's spending millions upon millions of dollars to try to get humanity off this little planet and to get us into the fucking, to get us on the moon, to get us to Mars, to get us everywhere else in the universe. Like, this is crazy to me. It doesn't make any sense that this man is being called a Nazi or being called a radical person. He's done more for humanity than any of these dipshits ever will in their tiny in their insignificant lives. Like, it's fucking crazy as shit. I get that you don't like him, but use an actual articulate way to explain why you don't like him. And that's the modern issue with politics yet again. Most people in politics are too stupid to articulate why they don't like someone, so they use words that they know four-year-olds understand. They know that elementary school kids will understand. Because believe it or not, everyone knows who Hitler was. Everyone knows Nazis were the bad guys, unless you're like some far-right extremist. Or now, I guess the far left, because they're the ones harassing Jews drawing swastikas on their cars now. Fucking crazy. But the point is that these people are too stupid to actually articulate in a reasonable manner on why they hate Elon. If you don't like him because he's firing people for the Doge department, I understand that. To call him a thief makes no fucking sense. To call him a Nazi makes no fucking sense. To call him incompetent makes even less sense than everything else you said so far. That's 3 strikes, you're out, and congratulations on getting another fat lawsuit to CNN. Which CNN's also been sued in the past multiple times if you haven't seen. They lied about the one kid that stood in front of the Native American that just stood there smiling back in the 2016 election. They dragged his name through the dirt. They called him a white supremacist extremist, and they lost like a $100 million lawsuit for it. It was fucking crazy. Because the news is absolutely trying to hype people up with their rhetoric to get them to go out and do actions that they aren't capable of. Like violence, which is what's happening with Tesla. Teslas are getting firebombed across the nation. You have people keying swastikas on the sides of cars. You have a guy that shoved his whole hand up his ass, like fucking grabbed his fucking kidney and then wiped his hand on a Tesla door. You really think you're on the right side of history when you have people doing shit like that? Really? 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 These are your fellow Democrats that are doing this shit. This isn't a right-wing extremist. No one that understands anything about how a protest works would ever suggest to do this. Which is another thing. Leftists are purposely conflating protests with political violence yet again. They use them interchangeably because they're too fucking stupid, or because they want people to think that this is a peaceful protest when it really isn't. If you are causing violence, if you are firebombing people, if you're destroying property, it's considered violence. It's no longer considered peaceful. I'm sorry. Just shooting at a Tesla, firebombing a Tesla, putting a swastika in the side of a Tesla, or just keying a Tesla is violence. It's property damage. It's a felony in like every fucking state. And when you're a felon, you can no longer vote. So these people are removing themselves from the voter pool next cycle, which is fucking hilarious to me. But yeah, it's asinine. And then they're screaming that there's no democracy, that democracy failed in America. And like, look at fucking Turkey. They have a literal dictator that overturned an election, jailed the political opponent, and then destroyed his college degree, or revoked his college degree so he couldn't run even when he gets out. Like, that's an actual dictator versus Trump, who won the popular and electoral college. I'm sorry, leftists, you get mad and throw a hissy fit. That doesn't mean you're right. That doesn't mean that this is a dictatorship. Now, going to January 6th, because I know people are going to immediately type that up, I think what happened on January 6th was pretty bad. I think anyone that was doing violence in the crowd should go to jail. I don't think they should have received a pardon. But you have to also understand that when they started trying people, they were withholding evidence of showing people being led in by police to get them purposely thrown in jail for 3 years for trespassing. Not fucking terrorism, not trying to overthrow the government. It was trespassing. Look at the charges they placed on them. Which that would have all been averted had Nancy Pelosi actually allowed Trump to call in the National Guard to secure the Capitol to ensure no protests even made it anywhere near there. But you know, Pelosi just happened to hire a camera crew and tell Trump, no, we don't need extra forces. And that camera crew recorded her even admitting, damn, I really should have allowed the National Guard here. This would have been happening. So if you can't use your own brain to see that they realize they fucked up and then immediately point the finger at Trump, that's on you, not me. I've been watching some CNN clips on Twitter, and the retardation is hitting new levels of retardation. So I'm looking forward to see their lawsuit. I am looking forward to this lawsuit. I want to see what actually happens. Like I said, Trump won a lawsuit because he got called a Nazi, or Trump won a lawsuit because he got called a rapist. That one kid got called a white supremacist. He won a lawsuit, and now Elon Musk is getting called a Nazi, and that's not right. That's just blatantly not right. This is me after the fact. As I was editing this video, I actually saw a clip on Twitter about Joe Rogan. If you don't know Joe Rogan, he's a political podcaster, or he's just a podcaster. He is probably more left-leaning than right-leaning. Obviously, he threw his bid in for Trump this election, but he's not a radical, despite what the news claims his as. And this actually breaks down, in essence, what I'm saying, because a lot of people are noticing this happening. This is not a phenomena that's unique to me. This is what normal people are seeing. So, me seeing Joe Rogan say this actually cracked me up, so I wanted to include this.
People are just trying to distort a narrative. You're seeing that right now with Elon, right? You're seeing people justify violence and
like calling him a Nazi,
extreme vandalism, and you're seeing people cheer it on, and it's very strange.
Tim Waltz on stage.
Thing on the Daily Show where the host was talking about the attacks on Tesla,
bro, these
and people keying people, and the audience starts clapping and cheering.
What is this?
It's so strange. It's so fucking strange. And it's also just shows you how positions just completely flip-flop. Like the Tesla used to be the car that you drove to let everybody know that you were environmentally conscious and you were a good leftist.
It's a good question. Do we care about the environment or not? Because those fumes that are being kicked out of that.
It's like,
that is true. When you burn a Tesla down, the lithium battery packs are pretty fucking dangerous to people. And you can't really put the fires out because it's an electrical fire opposed to a chemical fire. So you have to have different fire extinguishers to put that bitch out. So it requires special response times or special response equipment from firefighters. You can't use water to put it out. That will not work. In fact, I think you'll kill people if you use water. But he's entirely right. You had people go from, I care about the environment, to now, I hate Elon Musk. And the people that are still driving Teslas are the people that still care about the environment. So what the left is doing is they're actually splitting the left even further. For the people who care about the environment that bought a Tesla, now getting keyed by the people who hate Elon Musk that are destroying Teslas. It's the left eating the left, and it's fucking hilarious.
like
not good.
1,000 jet airplanes flying overhead for a year.
Yeah.
Or basically Taylor Swift for one day.
It's
You're
wild.
lighting batteries on fire. They're so toxic.
Lithium and all sorts of shit getting pissed into the environment.
Oh, it's all going to come down and rain. It's going to pollute the water. The fish are going to be polluted. You're not
But
going to
they don't care because they're showing Elon Musk
This is
the
for a
Nazi's a
righteous
bad
cause.
guy.
Yeah, and it's all funded too.
Basically, there's something got leaked that these NGOs, that an NGO was actually paying people to show up to different events, paying them thousands of dollars to be an aggressor. You can look this up for yourself. Now, verify. Now, how true this actually is, it's leaked paperwork. There's no real verification besides someone saying, hey, I used to work for this group and this is the shit they did. So it's a trust me bro moment. But this seems pretty damning. I'll say that. This seems like some pretty damning evidence of them basically telling people, show up, get in fights, you'll get paid, it'll take this much money, and we'll get you from point A to point B, and you can keep doing this as long as you want. And it's basically like $15,000 what this says down here. Or, yeah, $15,000 for appointment to fight. And then don't report this income tax. We have people that will make sure that you won't get in trouble for it. Don't worry about it. Yeah. To preserve OPSEC. So they're using a lot of coded words here. So if this is a schizo post, it's a really good schizo post. It's a really good fake. But then they posted even more on it. If you want to see more of it, it's all over Twitter. But basically, this is another one of the Alex Jones was right hat is the reason why I'm including this in here. It's because you have retards showing up to protests that are being paid to show up to protests, convincing other retards that weren't being paid to go commit felonies on their behalf. Yeah, that's it. That's all. I'm going to throw this in there somewhere, but yeah. The news should be hiring and bringing on the most articulate people to actually break down politics and talk about policies in a way that for American people understand. Not a name-calling match where the person is just, I'm upset, so I'm going to say all the buzzwords I can to talk about how bad this person is. None of this actually applies to Elon, but I'm just feeling it right now, and feelings matter more than facts. Because that's what most retarded leftists default to. Which... probably why the world's so fucked up. You care more about feelings over facts. You're going to allow really bad people to do really bad things and then say, oh, we need to let them keep doing those things because that's who they are, guys. Come on, guys. Let the murder rapist murder rape you because he's a murder rapist and that's what he does, guys. He's a good person. It's his nature. You can't stop his nature. That's who he is. Yeah. But yeah, that's all I got time for today. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. If you like this video, feel free to like the video, comment down below, or subscribe to my channel. I make a lot of like random content like this of basically retardation or stuff that cracks me up. And I've really been wanting Elon to sue these motherfuckers for a while now. And I'm glad someone actually just straight up called him a Nazi opposed to the vague dog whistle that they've been doing to try to encourage violence against Elon Musk. No one ever being called a Nazi is ever going to be considered a good thing in history. So to even say or even try to imply that it wasn't that bad is automatically wrong. You are purposely using strong rhetoric to encourage violence. That's the end of the story. That's anyone with a brain can see it. Lie to yourselves all you want, but we all know what you're doing and you're not smart. Either way, I'll catch you in the next video. So until then, later.